Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Garden of Sports Baseball Podcast. This is your Week 17 recap, Week 18 prep episode. And for some of you, like Zach and I, that might already be playoffs. So, yeah, we'll jump in. This could be important moves for you here. Yeah, and just a little more. Zach and I are head-to-head in a semifinals matchup here. It's only a week matchup, so it's going to be pretty. And you only get 5 moves per week. So, could be pretty intense.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Can't wait to get my ass kicked.
Oh my god. He's projected to finish 1 point better than me, but everyone knows the projections don't actually work that well. But yeah, Zach, what are your thoughts on the Juan Soto trade, since we didn't get to talk about that last week because it happened after our last episode?
Yeah, pretty crazy. Didn't think that he would be going to the Padres. But they have, I guess, a really good farm system, so somehow they were able to get Juan Soto and Josh Bell. So, and they gave up damn good prospects.
Yeah.
So, like Mackenzie Gore, and then, of course, I don't have the trade information. There's a really good shortstop that they're sending their way too, who, if it wasn't for Fernando Tatis, would be like a stud shortstop. So,
Good thing.
those are the two main ones.
You think they can win a chip?
I think they can. Yeah, if everything comes together really good. I mean, Juan Soto so far is looking pretty damn good for them, and you just when Tatis comes back, they're going to be pretty crazy. So
Yeah,
they're definitely gonna do something in the playoffs. You know, I mean, it's going to be a really, if they play the Dodgers in let's say the NLCS or something, it's probably going to go 7 games, I would imagine. But the Dodgers are pretty scary too. Walker Buehler's definitely going to be back for the last month of the season, and then heading into the playoffs, and he'll be fresh. And so, I mean, that's kind of scary.
And Dustin May.
They get their ace back, and then Dustin May, has a flamethrower. He's a flamethrowing pitcher, so if he's healthy, just gotta hope he doesn't throw his arm off.
I'm hoping the Padres can beat him, dude. I'm tired of the Dodgers and Yankees.
Yeah, I think the Padres could, and I wouldn't be surprised. And then a Padres-Yankees World Series would be pretty intense.
Think the Yankees are going to do it, or they're just going to mess up again?
I think they're going to do it. If they don't make it to the World Series, that'd be kind of funny, because they look like the best American League team. But it'll be hard to beat Houston for sure.
Yeah, Houston looks good.
Yeah, so we'll see. But I mean, the Juan Soto trade, pretty insane. I was hoping the White Sox would somehow do something, but they never fucking do. So I don't know why I keep hoping that they'll do something different or do something crazy.
Well, who wouldn't want him? He's 23, and that's supposed to be one of the top players in baseball. He hasn't done that quite yet, but
I think it really just shows that the White Sox, if they would have made the trade, they would have had to give up something off of their major league team, which the Padres didn't have to. So
probably, well, no, Mackenzie Gore was up, and he was pitching really well.
Yeah, but I guess that's off the team. So we would have had to give up Kopech or something to do it.
Yeah, and they probably didn't want to do it.
And they would have probably had to give up Yoan Moncada or Eloy Jimenez or something, or both.
Fine by me, dude.
You would have been fine with that for Juan Soto?
Those 3 for Juan Soto and Josh Bell? I mean...
Well, they probably would have had to give up their top prospect, Colson Montgomery, too, who's hitting 350 in the minors.
Yeah, it just wasn't our year, and we weren't going to pay him over $450 million, so whatever.
Yeah, but that's in 2.5 years that they'd have to do that.
Maybe. But they'll pay him this offseason, honestly.
Padres probably will, because they don't, money's no object. But it is an object for the White Sox, so.
Yeah, anyway, dude,
yeah.
Surprises of the week.
A surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one.
All right.
Classic.
So yeah, classic. We'll get into my surprises here. So start off with the pitcher. Just gonna go with Dylan Cease. Just because we're most of the way through the season here. Getting down to like the last month and a half of the season. Dylan Cease he's even better than I thought that he could be this season. Like I thought that he would be really good. And I thought that he would be in the running for possibly Cy Young, and I thought that you could get good odds on him at the beginning of the season. If you put a bet down, like we suggested with our first baseball episode, you got great odds on Dylan Cease, and so I hope some of you guys.
Oh, you think he could beat out Verlander? I don't know.
Yeah, I think he can, especially if he wins another like a third straight pitcher of the month for the American League. Like he just won for June and July. So if he could win it for August as well, that's 3.
Yeah, to beat him, he has to finish out the whole season because his numbers still aren't as good.
Yeah, he's got to finish out the season, and we'll see if Justin Verlander can keep it up. I would be more confident in Dylan Cease being great the rest of the season than Verlander keeping it up. I could see him getting tired or something because he is like 38 years old or whatever. He's
39.
Yeah, he's 39. Jesus. So I could see Verlander and they might be resting him more. He might not get as many starts down the stretch, saving him for the playoffs. They might be doing like a 6 pitcher rotation when you get the September call ups and stuff. So he might not be pitching as much. Whereas Dylan Cease, they'll be wanting him to pitch as much as possible because he's young, he's their best pitcher, and they're fighting to make the playoffs. Whereas Houston, they can just kind of coast in and just rest up their guys a little more. The Sox don't have that luxury. They're going to be fighting down to the last game of the season to make the playoffs. So I think we're going to see the best out of Dylan Cease for the rest of the year, and I think he definitely could maybe not be putting up a .4 ERA for the rest of the year. But I'm just surprised at how great he's been consistently these last couple months, all throughout the summer, basically, so far. Definitely surprising to me, Jake. He's looking like an ace level guy.
You're surprised, for sure.
Yeah, surprised to be sure. But over the last week, he pitched 2 starts, 2 wins, 12 innings pitched, 6 hits, only 2 earned runs, and 12 strikeouts. So Dylan Cease just looking studly. And then a hitting surprise, I'm going to go with Ahmed Rosario, the shortstop on Cleveland. He's been on fire the last couple weeks. He's looking like a true stud, like a guy Cleveland might want to keep for their rebuild that they're kind of going through, or their retooling, whatever they're doing right now. Should be higher owned. He's only 84% owned, and for someone who is doing as good as him the last I'm going to say month and a half, maybe 2 months, Ahmed Rosario, man, he should be in the 90% owned. He's playing every single day, and he's hitting 450-foot dingers. Over the last week, he hit 3 dingers and 9 RBIs, and he was on base 18 total times, and he also gets you steals. He's great in category leagues. He's pretty good defensive player as well. That was his specialty when he came up for the Mets. He's a very good defensive guy and could steal bases. And he was a good singles hitter, and this year he's showing that he's got power to him, and he is a top level shortstop. And I don't know, a lot of people didn't think anything of it when he was traded to Cleveland for who was the stud shortstop that the Mets got?
Lindor?
Cleveland traded. Yeah, Lindor. No one thought anything of Rosario when he came over, but he's been a great replacement this year for Lindor. They don't really miss Lindor that much. They got Rosario putting up hella great numbers. So I don't know. What do you think, Jake? He's looking pretty studly.
Oh yeah, he's good. He's good. I wouldn't say he's Lindor, but
yeah, but I mean, they weren't thinking he was a throw-in prospect.
Yeah, a good fill-in.
So I mean, he's looking like a everyday player, and a good defender. So that was a good move, I guess. Good trade for them. They got somebody to replace him. But yeah, those are my surprises.
Don't you have Ahmed?
I got Rosario, yeah, on my team.
Oh,
picked him up like 2 months ago.
Yeah, dude. The whole team's surprising. I mean, they're still up on the White Sox by a game. I mean, technically, they could still take the division as well. So
no, yeah, they definitely could, and they got better pitching. I think they got better pitching, like as a whole. 5 guys, I think,
not
better
anymore.
than the White Sox.
No, because Lance Lynn's coming together.
Yeah, but I mean, they got
Gio's been a lot better the past month.
Yeah, but
Kopech's the only one still like stuttering. I don't know what's going on with Kopech, but
I just think he's got a tired arm.
But, maybe. But yeah, dude, my surprises of the week.
Yep.
Pitcher Reed Detmers, 49 fantasy points in his last 2 starts. Both 7 innings pitched. The first one he had 12 strikeouts, which was a career high. I think, especially in points leagues, this is a possible league-winning pitcher. If you were able to grab him, I mean, I think he's actually still available to where somebody could grab him, right? He's not crazy owned. Hold on, let me check. 50%. So, yeah, I'm a believer. I think kind of a diamond in the rough for the Angels. It's like their second best pitcher to Ohtani at this point because Sandoval hasn't quite turned out like everyone predicted. So, yeah, you're always looking for like a league-winning pitcher because pitching is really scarce. Like you'll see in our pitching moves how bad it is at this point, especially in like a competitive league like I'm in or we're in. But then even in my ESPN league, it's a free league and it's that competitive to where there's nothing to grab. I mean, one guy's made like 250 moves.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Nobody's done that in our league. It's kind of weird that this guy's done 250. I just thought I'd bring that to the attention. And then my hitter, JT Realmuto, has become the number 1 catcher in fantasy again in points leagues. I mean, he's always top 5 this year so far, but then he would kind of like go on some cold streaks. In just the past 7 days alone, he's been hot before that, but 48.5 fantasy points with last night's dinger.
Oh wow, yeah.
So, and he's passed. The top catcher was Kirk, but Kirk has kind of fallen off.
Yeah, Realmuto has been doing great this last week. He definitely carried me in my playoff matchup.
Yeah, dude. I mean, yeah, like you said, you won by 50 points. That could have been because
of him,
straight because of your catcher.
Yeah,
he almost scored 50 himself. So
yeah.
I just thought
crazy.
A lot of people were almost starting to write him off like he had. I mean, just like words as short as a month ago, people were kind of like, "Oh, he's just never going to be the same." That's all, and they were kind of over it. And now he's kind of proven that wrong again.
Yeah, I was one of them. I thought that he was over the hill. So
yeah, catchers are hard to predict, and they are kind of shaky to where maybe they have 2 good years, and you think, "Oh, this guy's young enough to stay like going this for a while." But I don't know if it's something with their legs get weakened with the knees sitting how they do, and
a big part of it.
They get, I don't know. The catcher is always fluctuating.
Yeah.
Anyway, hitters, dude. I'll take hitters for key pickups.
Okay.
So Jorge Mateo, second base, shortstop, outfield, going off since All-Star break, and also getting a lot of steals. 46.5 fantasy points in the last 14 days. He was 55% rostered as of last night. He might even be more now. I mean, he's just kind of going off. The guy, I mean, I think the reason the guy stuck with you in your matchup, Zach, was because he grabbed Mateo. Like, he had an amazing week last week. Now he's 56% rostered, so a little up. And then, okay. I think I mixed up a couple guys here because I gotta go on a tangent. So, this is my theory for the week. I've been really doing a lot of digging on matchups because I'm playing Zach this week in the semifinals, and I was out last week, so I wasn't making a bunch of moves. I think I made 1 move. But this week, I really looked into like schedules and all of that, and Colorado, man, they have, I think, the easiest schedule this whole week, and all 6 games are at Colorado, which we know is a hitter's park. And leading up to this week, several of the Colorado hitters that are not really highly owned players are available, and there's 4 of them that are getting hot. So I think you could grab any of these guys, and they could help you win. I mean, it might sound like a crazy theory, but I just coming up. So the 6 games Colorado has is 3 against St. Louis, 3 against Arizona, and they're all at Colorado. I think that's great for, like, St. Louis pitching isn't amazing, and Arizona's definitely not good. So I just wanted to rank a couple of these guys that have been doing really well this past week. One, I would grab Ryan McMahon. He has second base, third base eligibility. He's got, I think, 3 home runs in the past 4 games.
Yeah, that's right. Because I was looking at him earlier today.
Oh, you didn't grab? You looking at him before me?
No, because I was wanting to drop Moncada, but I was I could.
Yeah, I was going back and forth too. But so I had Jeremy Pena, and anybody who owns him listening, he has been really bad the past 2 weeks. And just if you're in a 1-week playoff matchup, you just can't hold guys like that unless they're Vladimir Guerrero or something. You know, like one of your top guys. You can't. You need to stream at that point. So yeah, Ryan McMahon, now 2 dingers in the past 4 games, but still looks very, very good, seeing the ball really well, and about to go back to Colorado. And then they called up their top prospect a week or so ago. Zach, can you say this name?
Which guy?
Elehuris Montero?
Elehuris. Yeah, I think Elehuris Montero.
Okay, Harris.
I would, yeah, I guess. I don't know.
So he was ranked like the 6th best rookie hitter coming into this year, and he's finally called up, and he's hitting the ball very well, and it's only been he hasn't even hit in Colorado yet, so he's also an extremely low owned one, so this is more of like a risky move, but I grabbed him as well because I'm hoping he can hit some dingers in Colorado this week. And then 3, if you need an outfielder, Randall Grichuk, also tearing up the ball lately.
Yeah.
Grichuk? Is that how you say it?
Grichuk.
Grichuk?
Yeah, Grichuk.
Okay. What is that descendants?
No, they're just Grichuk. Randall Grichuk.
Okay.
That's how I heard it.
Yeah, he's also been hitting the ball really well. So it seems like the whole team's kind of heating up. I don't know if they're not like winning every game, but it's nice to see that they have some hitters coming through. He's up to rank 185 in points leagues on Yahoo. So another guy who could fill in for you with a great schedule coming up. And then lastly, one of their older guys that's just kind of hot right now is Jose Iglesias. Multiple hits in 4 of his last 6 games. So he's ranked 133, .313 batting average, 3 home runs, 39 RBI, 2 stolen bases, 27.5 fantasy points in the last 7 days. Only 20% rostered. So
nice.
Yeah, there's kind of a tangent, but I just was noticing that there's these 4 Colorado hitters with a great schedule, and you could take the risk, you know?
Yeah. Probably gonna get my ass beat again. The ass beat this week because these moves.
but I only grabbed 2, so you could grab 2. But
yeah, you grabbed the 2 best
Seth
ones.
Brown, maybe. Yeah, we'll see how the rookie does. But okay, Seth Brown. I think they're both rookies technically. McMahon came up last year for a little bit, but it didn't count as a full season or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Only reason I didn't grab Seth Brown, I have him here on the key pickups list, but he apparently sits against lefties. And I think the Angels have 2 lefty pitchers in the upcoming series.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a little worried about that, so I didn't grab him. But if you need power, this is the guy to grab. He's hitting a bunch of dingers lately. In points leagues, he's up to rank 111, 17 home runs. I mean, he's also got speed, apparently, 8 stolen bases.
Wow.
Only 31% rostered, so maybe after you see the lefties have pitched from the Angels, you can grab him midweek. Then they have a Houston series. Still, though, you can't deny just how good he's doing, and it could still be worth the risk. I just didn't want to take it. And then Tyler Naquin, Zach, I got to give you your flowers here. I thought it was... You brought him up last week after he got traded to the Mets, and then I didn't think he would come through, but he's already doing really well. Like the past week, he do I have the stats here? 28 fantasy points in the last 7 days.
Damn.
And revenge series coming up against Cincinnati starting today. So, and we know Cincinnati traded away their best pitcher.
Yep.
So I think he's a nice fill-in for a deeper league like outfield move. If you just need a hot streak guy, if you're in the playoffs, I mean, this is a guy that's hitting the ball really well right now.
Oh yeah.
And then, oh my god! And then, lastly, I wanted to give a catcher, Jose Trevino, 24 fantasy points in the last 7 days. Good if you need to stream a catcher. Oh, you know what? I'm messing. Okay, so there's this catcher. This is the Yankees catcher. But then real quick, we're going to go off the beaten pole here. There's another catcher available that I was a little worried about. You can always stream Jonah Heim on Texas. I like him a lot. But then the hottest catcher might be... Where's the Kansas City catcher? Oh, MJ Melendez. So, 3 of his last 4 games he's at a home run. He's got catcher and outfielder eligibility for Kansas City. I was just a little scared because there was a White Sox series last week and he didn't do crap against them, and now he's about to have another White Sox series. But maybe he just needed this Boston Red Sox series to warm up because he's had 3 dingers in that series, and maybe he'll do it against the White Sox too. I just didn't have faith in that, so I'd rather grab Jose Trevino.
Oh, okay.
But either catcher you can grab, I think, would be good if you need to stream a catcher.
What's the other catcher?
MJ Melendez.
Okay.
Kansas, you could at least add him to your watch list.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's got outfielder eligibility too, which is nice. If you're just looking for power and you wanted to keep your current catcher. Nice. But yeah, that's it for hitters for me. Zach, you got pitchers?
Yeah, I got some pitchers. Started off with Jordan Lyles on the Baltimore Orioles. He's got a 2-start week coming up. Beware of the Blue Jays on Monday, but he's been pretty solid lately. 40 fantasy points in his last 2 starts. He's only 15% rostered, so he's definitely available for streaming if you just wait until, after Monday, if you're scared of the Blue Jays.
Mm-hmm. If you had to get a 2-star weekend, you could just grab him, but I was too scared to pull the trigger.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't either. But no, I mean, Baltimore, they're better. They're a better team this year than people think.
They're 7-3 in the last 10 games.
Yeah, so I mean, it might be a sneaky, decent move. He might give up like 3 earned runs, but he might still get the win. So, Yeah,
it's a high risk, high reward possible.
Yeah, I would put it that way too. And then James Caprillion on the Oakland A's. He's got a 2-start week coming up. First against the Angels. 35 fantasy points in his last 2 starts, so he's, doing James Caprillion things where he's being remarkably average. So
I grabbed him
up. That's great for streaming.
Yeah, 2-start week, and there's nothing on our league, dude. There's just...
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to a couple.
Caprillion's like always a perfect streaming option. He's like, he just loves living on the waiver wire and, going to winning teams every week that pick him up.
Yeah, hopefully.
And then we got Jesus Luzardo, pitched a gem against the Cubs. That's not very hard to do. They make everybody look like Cy Young out there.
Yeah, but Jesus was good before he got hurt at the beginning of the year. He was really good.
Yeah, I mean, he is a good pitcher, but I mean, he looks, you look like an all-star against the Cubs.
So go ahead, sorry.
But it's his second start back from being hurt. He was out for most of the summer. I think either since May or June he's been out.
Yeah.
But 30 fantasy points, 7 innings pitched, 6 strikeouts. Looking pretty damn good, and then that could be like a jumping off point. Get him some confidence going up against the Cubs. They're like pitching slump busters. The Cubs. They'll get a guy right. So.
Oh my god. No, I think pitching 7 innings against any team is pretty significant, and
yeah, but the Cubs are the worst. I think they're the worst team in baseball right now.
Maybe, dude.
I think Cincinnati
Arizona,
has
Cincinnati,
a couple more wins. Well, they're behind Cincinnati. Cincinnati just passed them. Cubs are last in the National League Central.
Yeah,
don't know about Arizona though. Arizona's pretty shite.
Only reason he's not being higher percent grabbed right now is because his next start is against Atlanta later in the week, I believe. So
yeah,
you could maybe stream him if you want to take that risk. I think it's Saturday.
I would not take that risk because he's not going to get run support, and Atlanta has a good defense.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I would wait till after that.
All right.
Or add him and just sit him on the bench and just wait till his next start.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And then we got UC Kikuchi. He's got a 2-start week here this week. He's always a risk, but pitching grabs are pretty sparse right now. First start's against Baltimore, so that'll be a good pitcher's duel. That game against him against Jordan Lyles. Because it's Kikuchi, he's hot and cold. That maybe that makes Jordan Lyles more of a guy you'd be fine starting because it's probably going to be like a 4-3 game or something.
Both of them are a risk for sure today.
Yeah. So Kikuchi though is usually pretty good for a stream. You just got to play the matchups. Kikuchi can be always a great streaming option if it works out. You just got to look up the matchups and stuff. But and then we moving on here, we got Felix Bautista, closer for Baltimore. They're always in close games. They're putting up. They're looking like a pretty good team this year. He seems to be the most graded pitcher in Yahoo right now. So if you need a closer, Felix Bautista, he's getting some saves for Baltimore. So he's a closer getting saves on the waiver wire. You usually don't get stuff like that this late in the season. So go get him. Then we got the young pitcher on the Cubs. One of the few bright spots on their team this year, Justin Steele. 10 strikeouts in less than 5 innings last start. He's got Washington next up on Wednesday. This guy is looking like a very good young pitcher. I was knocking around picking him up for a stream this weekend against Miami, but I didn't. But I should have because he got 20 points and he looked really good. I definitely want to pick him up to stream against Washington. I'm going to try and do that this week. So.
Yeah, the only thing I'm a little skeptical of is it seems that the Cubs are taking him out early. Kind of like Tampa Bay does. So he's still a good stream because of how sparse we've been talking about. It's just, I would have grabbed him today to hold for that start if it wasn't for they took him out after 4.2 innings, even with the 10 strikeouts.
Yeah.
It's weird, but still, great ERA, great stuff.
Yep. Cool. And then our next one here, sorry, I just made the move to pick up Justin Steele. So
no, in the middle of the podcast. Unprecedented.
What's wrong with that, Jake? It's not like I'm playing you this week.
Yeah. No, I think it's fair.
No, I had to drop Ranger Suarez. So.
I made moves while you were grocery shopping, so I knew I had the upper hand.
You're right. And then lastly here, we got Edward Cabrera, young Miami starter. Young Miami starter. He pitched extremely well in his return with 8 strikeouts. So, be looking at him. He might be a decent streaming option.
Yeah, man.
He seems to be like a nice, decent strikeout guy. So,
yeah, it looked really good. I did not expect that to start back. So,
yeah, and that's our pitching moves.
Yes, sir. And then deep league moves, I have some names here. It's just like we said, there's a lot of sparsity on the waiver wire right now. I think there's hotter hitters right now than there are pitchers available. So deep league, we're still gonna keep talking about Yoan Moncada. Oh, did you have a sound effect?
Yeah, I just played it. Sorry about that.
Dingers.
See, that played it fully.
Yeah, that one works. Some of them don't work though, but we're working on it, guys. We're working on it.
For sure. How's Moncada doing for you, Zach?
Good enough to where he's right in the middle. He's average as hell. He'll have 2 or 3 good games a week. Okay. Maybe 2. He's.
Well, it looks like you could actually drop him.
I'm thinking about it. I'm glad I didn't use my waiver move on him.
Yeah, .190 batting average, so he's actually a little down. I would just keep him on the watch list, especially in leagues that aren't in the playoffs. If you're in the playoffs, I wouldn't hold him right now.
The only thing is I need a third base because he's my second third base. So
Yeah, but he's using your utility. You're good.
Yeah, but I would like to have a backup third base option. Otherwise, if I drop him and pick up somebody that's not third base, I only have one third baseman on my roster.
Beggars can't be choosers, you know?
Well,
you got to win. You're in a must-win week.
Yeah, okay. So I probably wouldn't drop him for one of these guys up here that we talked about. Like,
yeah, you just grab a hot hitter you like, yeah.
Or the Randall Grichuk or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Kyle Tucker's day today? Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's going to be starting. He's just got an illness.
Okay. So. But yeah, but anyway, Moncada, I would keep on the watch list if you still have like a month left of regular season fantasy baseball. And then Jonathan Hernandez is in contention for the Texas closer job. He's already got a couple saves. Were they just one of the teams that traded away closers, like a bunch of relief, Zach? Because I hadn't really heard about this guy until this past week. I wasn't looking at him.
I think they traded anybody away. They just haven't had a good closing option this year.
Okay.
So they're bringing up this young kid to try out.
Yeah, he looks pretty good. I just didn't want to put two closers in the grabs because this guy's not solidified yet as the closer like the Orioles guy is.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I'm trying to pull him up and he's not coming up. There he is, Jonathan Hernandez. 2 saves since July 31st, so I mean it's something to look at. 11% roster, definitely a deep league closer move for now. Keep him on the watch list. And then I put all of these Colorado hitters, if you don't believe me in my spiel, put them on your watch list and just wait till tomorrow in their first game, see if any of them do anything.
I think you're onto something there with the Colorado, Jake. I think you're going big brain on us.
Thank you, dude. I hope I'm right. Because otherwise I really shot myself in the foot there. Nick Gordon, hot for Minnesota. I'm not buying it, but like, I mean, people are grabbing him, so I couldn't not mention him, and he's looking pretty hot. I know he's gone on hot streaks before and like cooled down real quick, so wasn't from a guy I was going to stream, but if you're in a desperate situation, this guy's been hot the past 2 series, Detroit and Toronto, so you can go ahead and check on Nick Gordon, up to 12% rostered. Alec Thomas, starting to put some games together for Arizona. I grabbed him earlier in the year when he came up and he was pretty hot. Now he's pretty mediocre, pretty low owned, but he's been seeing the ball really well the past week. And he's got 4 games against Pittsburgh, and then he's got 3 games against Colorado this week. So he's not a bad, I think, and I looked at projected on Yahoo, and I projected him at 33 fantasy points, which I wasn't fully buying, but I think it's called just because of the matchups that I knew he was going to have opportunity to hit some balls pretty easily,
Mm-hmm.
Like he was out of the players available in our league, he was the highest projected over the next 7 days. Because he actually has 7 games and they're all against bad pitching. So something to think about, especially in a 12-team league. I would grab him in a 12-team league, no doubt. Braxton Garrett, Miami starter. He's a great stream the rest of the way. I know Miami does have what I read is they have a really hard schedule the rest of the season, maybe one of the hardest, but this guy's just been pitching very high strikeouts. I think he had 12 strikeouts in his last one. He had 11, he had 8. I think he had 10 in one of the past starts over the past month. He just looks really good for a stream. Nothing you have to hold, but looking solid. Okay. And I just wanted to have a starter in there you could do in a deep league.
Nice.
And stashes. Zach, you got stashes?
Yeah, some stashes. We've been talking about him for a couple of weeks now. Dustin May got 2 more rehab starts before return, so looking like he'll be returning next week. This is a guy you'll want for the playoff push because he's a high strikeout, fast flame throwing guy. So you'll definitely want him. And he's on one of the best teams in the league too. So, I mean, you think that he's going to get high strikeouts and with some wins. So definitely a guy you want to stash when he comes back if you're not already stashing him. Also, George Springer, he's hurt, but he might be coming back here within the next week or 2.
Oh, he just went to the 10-day IL, so I just put him on there like some people just get super hasty and they drop players like that get hurt like this. So
yeah, if you have an IL spot, keep George Springer on there. Don't be dropping him. And then also Trevor Story. He'll be coming back here shortly. Is that what I'm reading right, Jake?
No, we'll see. July 30th, but he was diagnosed with a hairline fracture in his right wrist, and he would be shut down from swinging for 10 to 14 days. So,
okay,
we're not even 10 days into that. So, he's probably like 2 weeks minimum away or more, but still a good stash. If he's another guy, like if somebody drops him, I just keep bringing up these guys because some people get hasty. In my ESPN league, I was telling you last week that somebody dropped Wander Franco, and I was like, all right, I'll stash him. Get those stashes in, dude.
Yeah. All right. Well, that'll. If you have any trade questions about guys that you want to make a trade for, send them our way. We'll do our best to analyze your trade options. Yes, with
sir.
that, I think that's is that a wrap on this week's episode?
Dude. Yeah, we just haven't been over trades because a lot of trade deadlines are passed, and if you feel like sending in questions, we'll gladly answer them pretty quickly for you. So,
hell yeah. And just remember to hit that like and subscribe button on the YouTube channel where you're watching this right now. And go give us a follow on our social media. We have Facebook, facebook.com/Garden of Sports Podcast. We have Instagram, instagram.com/Garden of Sports. And we have Twitter, twitter.com/GOSPod2021. Go give us a follow. You definitely won't regret it. And yeah, just, keep staying tuned for our new episodes every week. And we're going to be getting into football and hockey stuff here coming up, getting ready for those seasons. So, the fun never ends, everybody. So, always got to be preparing for your next championship. So,
yeah, I think you forgot a sport there, too, guy.
Oh, basketball, too, starting up.
What a guy.
Yeah, we'll be doing a lot of off-season stuff here coming up. So
mostly football. We're going to have
Kyle back on.
Not next week, but the following week when we're home from our family vacation, we're going to start up all our preseason football episodes. And, mock drafts. We're going to go over rookies. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, when we might, I don't know, Jake, we got to talk about it. We might do like multiple ones the same day and just have them be released different weeks. We can at least record them like all the same day if we all have time. We could do like the off-season stuff and mock drafts. Just have them released different times. We might do something like that. But yeah, that's for off the podcast. So yeah, thanks everybody for listening. If you're still listening, what the heck are you doing?
Yeah, I would have turned it off.
All right, we'll catch you all here next week for a fresh off the press baseball episode
from Wisconsin.
From Wisconsin, yes.
Declaring the semifinals champion. All right, see ya.
See ya.